Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Woods, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether one identifies more as being an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert with my friend Alyssa, and how you can go about using this information to just help you in everyday life. So be sure to stick around because we got some pretty cool stuff coming up. All right, so in case you don't know, extrovert, introvert, and ambiverts are personality types, at least from my understanding. Now, I'm no social psychologist, but from my understanding, introverts tend to be people who gravitate more towards, their alone time, like being in a lot of social situations. It can be very exhausting for them. And you could think of these people as those who they recharge their batteries when they're home after social gatherings and whatnot. So being alone and doing their own thing is kind of where they feel the most comfort. Now on the other side of the spectrum, we have extroverts. Now extroverts, they tend to get their energy or their batteries tend to be charged when they're hanging out with a bunch of people, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch of people, but just interacting with people in general. So, being stuck home in your room or whatever without maybe for weeks on end, it could be absolute torture for these types of people. And as you can kind of guess, with introverts being those who like to, be not necessarily isolated, but they just to do their own thing, their alone time. And then extroverts tend to be those who, are on the opposite side of that, where they get their energy from hanging out with a bunch of people. Ambiverts are basically right in the middle, where these people tend to have almost an equal amount of traits from both sides. Now, no one is 100% extroverted or 100% introverted. So, most people are gonna lean more towards one side, but they're still gonna have traits on the other one. And so, yeah, so that's a quick breakdown of kind of the three personality types that we're gonna be focusing on today. All right, you guys, so if I'm talking personally from my perspective, I would say that up until my mid-20s, I was definitely introverted. I didn't really realize it until I left, working at Starbucks, but I was extremely shy. But the thing is, since Starbucks was a very customer service focused type of job, I had to just get comfortable talking to people, and not even just one type of person, but we're talking about several different types of personalities. And it was a gradual process, but I went from just being completely shy to slowly having conversations with people as they're waiting for their coffee. And I just kind of got over me just being this really quiet person, and then the other person kind of giving subtle cues that they wanted to chat, but they didn't want to be kind of the one to initiate it. And slowly but surely, I just got more comfortable having small talk with them. And it's to the point now where I want to say that I'm almost comfortable talking to pretty much anyone. I'm definitely not perfect at it, far from it, but You know, it's something that definitely like took time, and I feel like it has definitely brought like value to my life for sure. Hey, what's up guys? I am with my coworker Alyssa. She's gonna be helping me out with my video today. And we're gonna be talking about being introverted, extroverted, or if you're in the middle, whether you're like an ambivert. So Alyssa, if you had to decide, which one do you feel like you identify more as right now?
I'm definitely an introvert.
Okay, so what makes you feel like you're an introvert?
As much as I am around people for job and work and all this other stuff, I personally love my alone time. I love just being able to just escape and like hide away and not have to talk or say anything or do anything and kind of just be in my own zone and my own little vibe, and instead of having to always exert so much energy to be around people. So that's why. So you feel like you pretty much like you recharge your batteries when you go home after like okay when my door's closed, and I'm like, I'll see you in 5 hours.
So when the pandemic started, or like when we had to lock down and whatnot, did you, I feel like, do you feel like it was like an easy process for you? I mean, obviously you wanted to hang out with friends and things like that, but do you feel like the time kind of like isolating wasn't maybe not as big of a deal for you compared to others?
Yeah, I don't think it affected me at all.
You're just like, okay.
Like, I think it was just like, since also, plus I live with 2 other people, so I didn't really feel the effects of like, I can't see anyone, I can't talk to anyone. It's like, I still had a job, like I saw all my coworkers. Right. And then even when my job shut down, like I still had people from my church that I talked to, I had people in my house that I talked to, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was always still constantly near people. It's just that even if it was virtual for some other people, I can still, you know, have that human interaction. But for me, I didn't, like, I'm like, okay, we've been together for 6 hours now. Your girl needs a nap, some coffee.
Gotcha. Cool.
Alone time.
So do you feel like you've primarily like stayed the same as like an introvert since you were younger? Or like, do you feel like maybe you were more introverted as you were younger and you're less introverted now? You know, maybe like you kind of turn off, maybe like your you blossom,
I grew.
Or do you feel like you've maybe even like focused more on being like an introvert, like it's just been like concentrated more?
No, I definitely have grown. Like when I was a kid, it's not that I wouldn't hang out with people, it's be like I would hang out when I want to hang out, and if I didn't want to like hang out anymore, I would be like, okay, bye. Like, you know, I would just kind of go off on my own and like do my own thing for hours upon hours, like paint or draw, anything artistic. I was like, I'm good. Like, your girl has a pencil, some paper, I got this. Like, don't bother me. So when I was a kid, I was like, okay, if we're hanging out, we can hang out, but also I'm gonna take my time. But now that I'm older and working with a lot more people and working with different things and just like film and career and all this other stuff, I have to be like around people more. So I had to learn how to be more outside of myself instead of being like, hi, I'm great, okay, that's cool. You know, so I'm more like, whoa, and then plus I work with cameras as well. And nobody likes a person in front of the camera that's like, hi, my name is Alyssa.
True.
So I had to learn how to be like, oh, I gotta be expressive, I gotta do this, I gotta, you know, be very theatrical for the camera, but in reality, if you met me in person, I'm very
No. This is true, guys.
Very calm. I might be alive on camera.
Yeah.
But just normal in person.
Okay, and I guess my last question is, especially with how you feel you are now in regards to like being introverted, and like you said before, like, you know, when you're in certain situations, you'll probably kind of like turn on like that extroverted persona. But like when you go home, you kind of like recharge by, you know, with your alone time. Do you feel like there are certain situations now where you wish maybe you were more extroverted, or since, as you just said earlier, that, you know, you kind of like have like a switch where you flip that side of you on, like you feel like pretty good?
Yeah, like, no, there are times I do feel like I wish I was more extroverted, because I feel like it would just be easier in some senses, instead of being like, ooh, I can't, I just don't want to. Because more extroverts are able to be like, I don't care, hey girl, what's up? You know? And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to bother her, and I feel like I'm bothering her if I say hello, you know? So it's more so like, if I was more extroverted, it would help me more in the film career, because it's like, then I would want to network more and be like, hi, my name is so-and-so, you know, instead of being like, ooh, I should network, but also talking to people, ooh, that's tough, you know, so.
Because I feel like one of the things I want to say that you can, you have like as a benefit as like going from like an introvert and then like becoming a little bit like more extrovert, or like being able to turn on that switch, is that I feel like introverts, since you spend like a lot of time alone, you tend to know like how you feel inside, like, so you have like that I guess you could say like self-awareness, or you just kind of have like that inner you, which you're like in tune with. But I feel like a lot of people who may have just been like extroverted like primarily, it's hard for them to like
and accept certain things. But for me, I'm like, oh, I gotta change this. Let's do it.
Right, because I feel like if you're like kind of like if you're going through like some hard points in life, sometimes you kind of need that like alone time to kind of figure yourself out. But if you're not really sure like how to channel in that inner you and do like some reflective, then like I feel like it can be harder for you. So I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for your input, and I'll be sure to like have her social media info as well as like anything else you want me to put on there. So if you guys want to follow her and show her support, you can. All right, thanks guys. All right, bye.
All right, you guys. So hopefully that little chat I had with Alyssa was able to kind of shed some light on, you know, maybe some of you fall more on the introverted scale and you get drained when you hang out with a bunch of people, or maybe on the opposite side where, you know, if you're alone all the time, you know, you feel negative, and you feel like a negative type of way because you're not getting kind of like that the amount of social interaction that you actually kind of like need to like kind of recharge your batteries. But the main thing I kind of wanted to go over before I end this video is that, you know, if you fall more on the introvert side and, you know, it's hard for you to be around a bunch of people like all the time, that doesn't necessarily mean there's something like wrong with you. And it kind of goes the same way on the opposite side for extrovert. The whole point of this was not to make you feel bad for like, oh, I suck when I hang out with a bunch of people, or I can't be alone, is for you to realize like, okay, I kind of struggle in these areas. Okay, so these are the areas like I need to like add some attention to and get better at, because I kind of feel like when you kind of give those areas the attention they need, and you get better and you just become more well-rounded as a person, then it'll open up more doors when you find yourself in certain types of situations, or when you find yourself alone and you're kind of able to go like inward and figure out maybe, you know, why you're feeling a type of way because of like a certain situation and things like that. And so hopefully this video was able to bring you some value. That's the core of what all of my content is about, is I just want to bring you guys some value through things that I have learned. So if you were able to get some value from this, then I really appreciate you subscribing. And if you didn't get any value from this, then it means I gotta up my game for the next video. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it for this. If you guys have any comments or questions, then let me know down in the comments below, or you can reach out to me on Instagram and send me a DM. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I think the last thing I want to say is that, you know, I'm not sure what you guys are doing, like, you know, for work or things like that, or kind of like what your goals are. You know, some of you might be on the creative side and the others might be more on like the corporate, you know, corporate side of things. But no matter which side you kind of find yourself on, hopefully this content or my videos are able to help awaken like your style of creativity. That way you guys can just live the successful life that you have visioned for yourself. So on that note, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and always stay creative. All right, later guys.